They called him the miracle worker, the surgeon who never lost a patient on his table. But when Dr. Marcus Webb woke up in a hospital bed, unable to feel his legs, staring at the same ceiling he'd walked under 1,000 times, he realized something terrifying. Miracles don't happen to the people who perform them. And the one person who would change everything? She was the night shift cleaner he'd never bothered to learn the name of. 3 weeks earlier, Marcus had everything mapped out with surgical precision. Chief of surgery by 45, published in every major medical journal, a penthouse overlooking Central Park. At 42, he was right on schedule. Dr. Webb, the Martinez family is here about, his resident began. Tell them I did everything I could, Marcus interrupted, not looking up from his tablet. The bleeding was catastrophic. No one could have saved him. The resident hesitated. They're asking if you could speak to them personally. I don't do grief counseling. That's what the chaplain's for. He walked away, white coat flowing behind him like a cape. In the surgical wing, nurses parted for him. Interns studied his techniques. Other surgeons asked for his opinion. Marcus Webb didn't just work at Manhattan General. He was Manhattan General. But that night, driving home in his Tesla, checking surgery schedules at a red light, he didn't see the truck run the stop sign. The impact was instant. Metal screamed, glass shattered, and the last thing Marcus remembered was the airbag exploding toward his face and thinking, absurdly, I have surgery at 6 a.m. When he woke up, everything was wrong. The lights were too bright, the sounds too loud, and his legs felt like they belonged to someone else, or worse, like they didn't exist at all. Dr. Webb, can you hear me? A voice. Familiar. Dr. Sarah Chen, his colleague. He tried to sit up. Couldn't. Tried to move his toes. Nothing. What happened to my legs? Sarah's face told him everything before her words did. Marcus, there was severe spinal trauma. We had to operate immediately. The damage to your L1 to L2 vertebrae. I know what L1 to L2 means, he snapped. Tell me I'm going to walk. Silence. Sarah, tell me I'm going to walk. We're not sure yet. The swelling needs to go down. We need to run more tests. I'm a surgeon, his voice cracked. I can't be paralyzed. I have patience. But Sarah was already backing away, and Marcus realized with cold horror that he'd become what he'd always feared most. Helpless. The days blurred together. Physical therapy sessions where he screamed at therapists. Visits from colleagues who didn't know what to say. Flowers from people who felt obligated. Marcus refused most visitors. Refused to watch TV. Refused to accept that this was permanent. His room became his prison. That's when he first noticed her. Late at night, around 2 a.m., when the hospital quieted to whispers and beeping monitors, she would come. A woman in navy blue scrubs, pushing a cleaning cart, moving through his room like a ghost. She never spoke to him, never made eye contact, just cleaned around his bed, emptied his trash, wiped down surfaces. To Marcus, she was furniture, background noise, until the night he broke down. It was 3:17 a.m. He'd been staring at the ceiling for hours, calculating all the surgeries he'd miss, all the patients who'd die without him, all the years of work evaporating. The tears came without permission, silent at first, then heaving sobs that shook his entire body. He didn't hear her cart stop, didn't notice her standing by his bed, but then he felt it, a warm hand on his shoulder, gentle, steady. It's okay to cry, she said softly. Even miracle workers are allowed to be human. Marcus froze, looked up at her for the first time. She was older, maybe late 50s, with kind eyes and silver streaks in her dark hair pulled back in a simple bun. Her name tag read, Gloria Martinez, Environmental Services. You don't understand, Marcus whispered. I'm supposed to save people. Not be like this. Gloria pulled up a chair, something no one else had dared to do. My husband was a firefighter. Saved 12 people from a burning building. The 13th trip. The floor collapsed. He spent the last 2 years of his life in a wheelchair. Marcus stared at her. You know what he told me? Gloria continued. He said the hardest part wasn't losing his legs. It was learning that being strong doesn't mean doing everything alone. She stood, returned to her cart, and before leaving added, "Your patient, Mr. Martinez? The one who died 3 weeks ago? That was my nephew. And even though you couldn't save him, you tried. That's all anyone can ask." The door closed softly behind her, and Marcus Webb, for the first time in 20 years, felt something shift inside him. But he had no idea that Gloria's words were just the beginning, because what she knew about healing, what she'd learned from years of loss, pain, and quiet wisdom, was about to teach him the one thing medical school never could. The thing that would either destroy him or save him. And it started with a simple question she'd ask him the very next night. Over the next week, Gloria became the only person Marcus didn't push away. She came every night at 2 a.m., and somehow their conversations became the highlight of his existence. Not therapy sessions, not doctor consultations, just talking. "Why do you work nights?" Marcus asked one evening. Gloria smiled while wiping down his table. "During the day, everyone's rushing. At night, people show you who they really are." "And who am I?" She looked at him directly. "You're someone who spent so long being perfect, you forgot how to be real." Marcus should have been offended. Instead, he laughed, actually laughed, for the first time since the accident. "My daughter's getting married next month," Gloria said casually. "I've been cleaning hospitals for 15 years to pay for it." 15 years. Some dreams are worth mopping floors for. Marcus went quiet. He'd never thought about the people who cleaned his operating rooms, who emptied trash while he saved lives. They were invisible, just like he felt now. "Gloria," he said suddenly, "teach me." She paused. "Teach you what?" "How to be okay with this. How to live when everything you are is gone." Gloria set down her cleaning cloth and sat beside his bed. "You want to know the secret?" He nodded. "Stop trying to be who you were. Start discovering who you're becoming." Simple words, but they hit like a surgical blade cutting through scar tissue. That night, Marcus asked for his laptop, started researching spinal injuries. Not as a doctor this time, as a patient. He read forums, watched videos of people in wheelchairs living full lives, rock climbing, dancing, teaching, and slowly, painfully, he began physical therapy again. Not to walk, but to live. Gloria was there through it all, encouraging him when he wanted to quit, calling him out when he fell into self-pity, bringing him her homemade empanadas that tasted better than anything the hospital cafeteria offered. "Why do you care so much?" Marcus asked one night. Gloria's eyes misted. "Because my husband gave up. He let the wheelchair become his identity, and I watched him fade away. I won't watch that happen to you." Marcus reached for her hand. "Thank you." But what Marcus didn't know was that Gloria was fighting her own battle, one that would soon put both their strengths to the ultimate test. It happened on a Tuesday. Gloria didn't show up for her shift. Marcus waited. 2 a.m. came and went. 3 a.m. Nothing. He asked nurses, called environmental services. No one knew where she was. By morning, panic set in. Then his phone rang. Unknown number. "Dr. Webb?" A shaky voice. Gloria's daughter. "Mom." Mom collapsed at home. They brought her to Manhattan General. "She's asking for you." Marcus's heart stopped. He forced himself into his wheelchair, still clumsy, still frustrating, and navigated the hallways he once commanded. When he found Gloria's room, she looked so small in that hospital bed. Monitors beeping, IV drip connected. "Marcus," she whispered, managing a weak smile. "What happened?" "Stage 4 pancreatic cancer. I've known for 6 months." The room tilted. 6 months? "Gloria, why didn't you?" "Because you needed someone strong, and I wasn't ready to stop being that person yet." Marcus's hands trembled. "You should have told me. We could have started treatment, clinical trials." "I'm tired, Marcus." Her eyes were clear, peaceful. "I've made my peace. My daughter's wedding is in 2 weeks. That's all I need." "No." Marcus's voice broke. "No, you don't get to give up. Not after everything you taught me. You said being strong doesn't mean doing everything alone, remember?" Gloria smiled through tears. "Then be strong for me now. Not as my doctor, as my friend." And in that moment, Dr. Marcus Webb, the man who'd spent his entire career saving strangers, realized he was about to lose the one person who'd actually saved him. What Marcus did next would shock the entire hospital, because the miracle worker was about to perform his greatest miracle yet, and it had nothing to do with surgery. But first, he had to make one phone call that would change everything. Marcus sat in his wheelchair outside Gloria's room, phone trembling in his hands. He dialed a number he swore he'd never call again. Dr. Patricia Okafor speaking. Patricia, it's Marcus. Silence. Then, Marcus Webb? The Marcus Webb who told me my experimental treatments were reckless medicine 3 years ago? I need your help. I'm listening. Stage 4 pancreatic. Patient has 2 weeks, maybe 3. I need your trial protocol. Patricia's voice softened. Marcus, you know the criteria. Stage 4 patients rarely qualify. She's not a statistic. She's... His voice cracked. She's the reason I'm still here. Another pause. Send me her files. I'll review them tonight. Marcus hung up and wheeled himself back into Gloria's room. Her daughter Carmen sat beside the bed, holding her mother's hand. What are you planning? Gloria asked weakly. I'm planning to fight, like you taught me. Marcus, no, you don't get to tell me to let go. Not yet. Just give me 2 weeks. Let me try. Gloria's eyes filled with tears. And if it doesn't work, then I'll be right here, holding your hand, like you held mine. Carmen looked between them, confused. Who is this man, Mom? Gloria smiled. He's the patient who became my friend, the doctor who forgot how to be human until he had no choice. Marcus spent the next 48 hours like he was preparing for the surgery of his life. He pulled Gloria's medical records, consulted with oncologists, argued with hospital administrators about insurance coverage. Dr. Chen found him at 3 a.m. in the medical library, surrounded by research papers. Marcus, you need to sleep. Patricia's protocol has a 23% success rate in stage 4 cases. 23%, Sarah. That's better than 0. It's also 77% failure. And the side effects? I know the side effects. He slammed his hand on the desk. But she deserves a chance. She spent 15 years mopping floors for her daughter's wedding. The least I can do is give her a shot at attending it. Sarah sat down across from him. This isn't about medicine anymore, is it? Marcus looked up, eyes red. She saw me when I was invisible, when I was just another broken body in a bed. She didn't see Dr. Marcus Webb, miracle worker. She saw me. And now you're returning the favor. He nodded. But I don't know if I'm strong enough. Sarah squeezed his shoulder. Marcus, you wheeled yourself across this hospital in the middle of the night to save someone who saved you. You're stronger than you've ever been. The next morning, Patricia's email arrived. Approved for trial. Begin immediately. Marcus burst into Gloria's room, waving his phone. You're in. Patricia approved you. Gloria sat up slightly, hope flickering in her eyes. The experimental treatment starts tomorrow. It's going to be hard, Gloria. Really hard, but... I know hard, she interrupted. Hard was watching my husband give up. Hard was losing my nephew. Hard was cleaning rooms while my body was eating itself alive. She reached for his hand. But this, fighting with you by my side, that's not hard. That's love. Carmen wiped her tears. What do you need from us? Marcus looked at both of them. Honestly, I need you to remind me how to have faith, because I've spent 20 years trusting science. Now I need to trust something bigger. The treatment began the next day. Marcus was there for every infusion, every scan, every moment of nausea and pain. He held Gloria's hand when she cried, wiped her forehead when she sweated through the fevers, told her stories about his patients, the ones who lived and the ones who didn't. I never told them I was sorry, Marcus admitted one night during hour 6 of chemo. The families of patients I lost. I just walked away, like their grief was contagious. Gloria's voice was hoarse. You were protecting yourself. I was being a coward. No, you were being human, flawed, real. She squeezed his hand weakly. That's all any of us are. By week 2, the tumors had shrunk by 18%. Not enough to cure her, but enough to give her time. Carmen's wedding was in 3 days. But then, the night before the ceremony, Gloria's heart stopped. The code blue alarm shattered the quiet night. Marcus wheeled himself toward Gloria's room at full speed, nearly crashing into nurses rushing the crash cart. "Move!" he screamed. "That's my—" He stopped, almost said, "patient." But that wasn't true anymore. "That's my friend." Dr. Chen was already performing compressions. V-fib, charging to 200. Marcus watched helplessly from the doorway as they shocked Gloria's body once, twice, 3 times. "Come on, Gloria," he whispered. "You don't get to miss this wedding. You don't get to quit on me now." The monitor flatlined. "Again," Chen ordered, "charging to 300. Marcus closed his eyes, and for the first time since medical school, he prayed. Not to science, not to statistics, just prayed. Beep, beep, beep. Gloria's heart found its rhythm again. Chen exhaled. "We got her back." Marcus wheeled to Gloria's bedside, tears streaming down his face. "You stubborn, beautiful woman. You can't do that to me." Gloria's eyes fluttered open. Did I miss it?" "Miss what?" "The wedding." Marcus laughed through his tears. "It's tomorrow, and you're going, even if I have to wheel you down that aisle myself. Promise?" "On my life." The next day, Manhattan General's rooftop garden was transformed. White flowers, string lights, chairs arranged in perfect rows. And in the front row, wrapped in blankets, oxygen tube hidden beneath her scarf, sat Gloria Martinez, with Dr. Marcus Webb in his wheelchair right beside her. Carmen walked down the makeshift aisle, and when she saw her mother sitting there, alive, present, she broke down sobbing. The ceremony paused. Carmen ran to her mother, fell to her knees, buried her face in Gloria's lap. "You made it!" Carmen cried. "You actually made it!" Gloria stroked her daughter's hair. "I had help from a very stubborn doctor." Carmen looked at Marcus, tears streaming. Thank you. Thank you for giving me my mother back." Marcus shook his head. "She gave me myself back first." The ceremony continued. Vows were exchanged. Rings were placed. And when the officiant said, "You may kiss your bride," the entire rooftop erupted in applause. Gloria leaned over to Marcus. "You know what the best part is?" "What?" "You're not the miracle worker anymore. You're just Marcus, and that's so much better." He smiled. "Yeah, it really is." But just as the reception began, Marcus's phone buzzed. A text from Patricia. "New trial results just came in. Gloria's case is showing unprecedented response. We might actually have a cure." "Call me." Marcus stared at the screen, heart pounding. "What is it?" Gloria asked. He turned to her, voice shaking. "Gloria, I think we just made medical history." 6 months later, Marcus stood at a podium, standing, with the help of leg braces and crutches, but standing nonetheless. The medical conference hall was packed. Doctors from around the world had come to hear about the breakthrough pancreatic cancer treatment. But Marcus wasn't talking about science. "For 20 years, he began, I believed that medicine was about knowledge, about skill, about being the smartest person in the room." He paused, looking at Gloria sitting in the front row, cancer-free, healthy, alive. "I was wrong. Medicine is about seeing people, really seeing them. The patient isn't the disease. They're the human being fighting it. And sometimes the person who saves your life isn't wearing a white coat. Sometimes they're pushing a mop." The audience murmured. "Gloria Martinez taught me that healing isn't just physical. It's emotional, spiritual. It's about connection. And the greatest surgery I ever performed wasn't in an OR. It was learning to cut away my pride and let someone else teach me what it means to be whole." He gestured to the screen behind him, where Gloria's before and after scans appeared. "This is a miracle, but not because of the medicine, because of the love that powered it, because a woman who had every reason to give up chose to fight, and because she taught a broken doctor that being vulnerable isn't weakness, it's the only real strength we have." The room stood in applause. Gloria wiped her tears, and Marcus Webb, no longer the untouchable miracle worker, but a man who'd learned to accept grace, smiled. After the conference, Marcus returned to Manhattan General. Not as chief of surgery. He'd turned that down. Instead, he started something new. the Gloria Martinez Center for Compassionate Medicine, a place where doctors learned not just procedures but presence, where medical students spent shifts with custodial staff, cafeteria workers, security guards, the invisible people who made hospitals run, where healing was understood as something that happened between humans, not just inside bodies. Gloria became the center's first director. Her office was right next to Marcus's. On the door, a plaque. The people you overlook often carry the wisdom you need most. One evening, as they reviewed applications for the new program, Gloria looked at Marcus. You know what's funny? What? You spent your whole career saving lives, but the life you really saved was your own. Marcus smiled. Actually, you saved it. I just finally learned how to accept the help. So what now, Dr. Webb? What's the next miracle? He looked at the stack of applications. Young doctors eager to learn a different way of healing. No more miracles, just presence, connection, actually seeing people. That might be the biggest miracle of all. As the sun set over Manhattan, Marcus wheeled to the window. His legs were getting stronger every day. Soon he might not need the wheelchair at all, but he would never forget what it taught him, what she taught him, that the strongest people aren't the ones who never fall. They're the ones who fall, accept a hand up, and then reach back to help someone else. And sometimes that hand comes from the person you never thought to notice. The janitor, the cleaner, the invisible soul who sees you when no one else does. Because the greatest healing happens when we finally realize we're all just humans trying to survive the night shift of life. And the real miracle workers, they're the ones who show up, quiet and unnoticed, and remind us we don't have to do it alone. 3 years later, Marcus and Gloria stood together at Carmen's baby shower. A grandmother, Gloria beamed, touching her daughter's belly. I never thought I'd see this day. Marcus smiled. What are you going to tell your grandchild about how you beat cancer? Gloria thought for a moment. I'll tell them I had a stubborn doctor who forgot he was human until he had no choice, and that sometimes the person who saves you is the one you're meant to save right back. That's not very scientific. No, Gloria laughed, but it's true. Marcus raised his glass. He could stand now without braces, walk with only a slight limp. To invisible miracles. Gloria clinked her glass against his, to finding each other in the dark. And somewhere in Manhattan General, a young doctor noticed the janitor struggling to reach a high shelf. Without thinking, he stopped. Here, let me help you. The janitor smiled. Thank you, doctor. You're the first person who's looked at me all week. The doctor paused. I'm sorry. That won't happen again. What's your name? Rita. Rita, I'm Dr. Patel. It's nice to actually meet you. And in that moment, in that simple exchange, Gloria's legacy continued. Because once you've been seen, you can't help but see others. And once you've been saved, you can't help but save right back. That's not medicine. That's love. And that's the only miracle that matters. The end. If you believe in stories that remind us to see the invisible, honor the overlooked, and find strength in our brokenest moments, hit that subscribe button. Because everyone deserves to be seen. And every story of healing starts with someone brave enough to notice.